Now, ever since I saw Batman v Superman in the theater, I hated it. Now, we're going to watch Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition, 10 minutes at a time to find out how bad it really was. I'm Iyaz Akhtar with Robert Borghese of internet fame. How's it going?
It's going.
Now, as far as I know, you do not hate this movie as much as I do.
No, no one could hate this movie as much as you do.
So we start off the movie with narration from Bruce Wayne, and we're looking at the Wayne funeral. For the first 4 minutes, we're in the funeral and cutting back to when Bruce's parents were gunned down. So what did we learn? Bruce's parents died, and Bruce found the Batcave during their funeral. And
I
immediately,
found something else out. Wait.
okay, go ahead.
His mom's hot.
True. That's
Yes.
true.
Yes.
That's one in the check column for not terrible.
Right. Yeah.
And his dad is the comedian / Negan, so that's pretty cool.
Yes. Yes.
But so he finds the Batcave, and I'm immediately ticked. As I'm watching this movie, I see the Waynes come upon a guy who is pointing a gun at them. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but usually Batman's parents get killed in an alleyway or something.
Yes.
Usually they are walking into like an area that's really unsafe.
Like they're doing something that's wrong. Yes.
Yeah, because they were going out the back to save Bruce because Bruce was embarrassed or something like that, or they got pulled in by a thug. This time, they're just outside of the theater they left. You can still see the placard behind Thomas Wayne.
Yes.
So I think this makes no sense. So we got
I agree with that.
Thomas Wayne.
Even the worst cities in the world, right outside a theater, that kind of crap's not going to happen.
The theater is lit up.
Yes.
It's not like we saw a wider shot where we saw like crime, theater, crime.
No.
We saw theater with Excalibur playing. Now,
Yeah, most of the other movies that have done this, they walk out of the theater, we see the theater, they continue walking, and then later on in their walk to wherever, the subway, home, a cab, that's when the altercation happens.
no, not in this movie.
No, let's put it all at once.
So Thomas Wayne, a guy who knows how messed up Gotham is, decides, I'm going to strike. But let's go further back, okay? So I don't know how common some Batman knowledge is. I want to ask you if you think everybody knows this. But let's talk about the fact that Thomas is a doctor. Do you think that everyone knows that Thomas Wayne is a doctor?
No, I do not.
Okay. So I still think, even in the universe of this, since he is a doctor, what kind of idiot takes his family to an area that could be this dangerous in the first place? He takes his wife and a young son. For what?
Yeah, especially since, where they live is kind of in the country suburbs. Wouldn't you go to a movie theater closer to home?
I don't know. So I also think, let's say this is the first crime that has ever happened at this location. Never happened before. Dr. Thomas Wayne, instead of trying to talk the guy down, like he does in other Batman movies and like everything else,
Yep.
he decides, I'm going to punch him.
Yep. Use your words, Thomas. Use your words.
Why on earth
And then, wait, it gets worse, because Mom does the same thing.
this? I did
Mom
not.
tries to stop him physically. It's like, wait a second. Give me a break.
I did not remember that in the first watch, that this had
Yeah.
happened. Martha Wayne sees Thomas hit the ground. Bruce is in the back, and Martha lunges for the gun?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I did say that I knew that Thomas Wayne was a doctor. I don't know what Martha's jiu-jitsu level is, her education level, or what. But she sees her husband get shot. She sees that her son is still there. And her idea is, lunge at this man.
I feel like most mothers would go and cover and stand in front of the child.
So what
Maybe.
we've gleaned for so long right now is the parents of Batman
Are stupid.
are incredibly stupid. There's no
Yes.
other word for this. You
Yes.
could say, hey, who knows how you would react in the same situation? And that's a good point. But I contest this. This is a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make likable, smart characters because
Yeah.
you have control.
Well, you also got to believe that these people created the world's greatest detective. You think they might have a fairly high intelligence level.
So let's just assume that they're supposed to be stupid.
Okay.
Let's go with
stupid.
that. So
Stupid.
these parents, they were impulsive and emotional, and then Bruce sees his parents get killed because of their impulsivity. Bruce doesn't learn a lesson like, be measured as much as you can because you could be killed or there could be a larger issue. Because, spoiler for the rest of the movie, he kind of doesn't seem to have a lot of logic or keeping his emotions in check, considering he's Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have, at this point of the movie, which is I think around 4 minutes in, we have zero reason to see any of this at the beginning of the movie
Right.
or at any point in the movie.
Right.
Okay, so shockingly, here's where stuff gets good. Do you want to mention anything that went bad?
That went bad.
Yeah, before
Well,
this moment.
well, the awful foreshadowing of him saying Martha as he was dying.
Okay, I can see that being a necessary evil, but I think later in the movie they even do the flashback within the movie,
Yeah.
which is wholly unnecessary. If
Yes.
at first we see the whole scene play out, and you hear him whisper some kind of noise, or the audio cuts out, and you don't know what he says,
That would be better.
then you get to that part where we show him again.
That would be better.
And we're going beyond the 10-minute window here because we've seen it before.
Yeah.
Then it would make sense. Like, oh wow, that really is powerful because
That actually would have been a really good way to do it.
and
I like that.
we're watching the Ultimate Edition, so this is the Ultimate Edition, the last one. So this is as good as it gets.
And that would have been easy to do on the editing. I mean, you just change the sound. Oh, wow.
And it could have been the first time he remembered hearing that memory with Clark.
Wow.
Like, okay, that would
so
huge.
good. So that would have been such a moving moment. God damn it. You should have made this movie.
See, this is why I dislike stuff, because if I can think of it better, there's something really wrong with the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we get to 4 minutes and 54 seconds in, this is where the movie should have started. You've got this badass guy driving into trouble.
Yes.
At 6:50, Bruce gets out of the car, and they're doing this hero shot of him, and this is crazy. He runs into the chaos that everyone else is running from.
Yep.
This
After driving awesome in the Jeep product placement. Don't forget the Jeep product placement.
That's fine.
But yeah, awesome driving. He's all over the place. He's going the opposite way of everybody else, towards the danger.
This is really good right here. Like, This is awesome. This is a great setup. But let's talk about my best pal, Jack. Remember Jack? So
Yes.
Bruce calls Jack in Metropolis he tells Jack, hey, evacuate the building. In the scene, that Jack, when he's picking up the phone, he's by a window.
Yeah, why isn't Jack already getting the hell out of there?
He's
along
by-
with everybody else.
No, but he's by the window, and he can see the spaceship blowing up stuff. So even if he wasn't aware, let's say like he was in one of those bad cubicles and he had no idea this was going outside the window, he's by the window in the shot.
Yeah.
You see him.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jack needed direction via phone, because if he's so up there with Bruce and he knows Bruce by first name and he needs to be told, get everybody out of the building, maybe he's not the best management guy.
Right. Well, and also what kills me is, he's still there 5 minutes later, right before the building goes down. He hasn't moved.
Well, I think in the time of this, so let's assume that the actual time happens in the course of real time. He's only there for 3 extra minutes. Does it seem like it's 3 minutes? No. But I'm just like, even if I give them the benefit of the doubt, it's still ridiculous. Yeah. So I question why I'm supposed to care about this Jack dude. At 7:48, I think we actually get a clue. He's just a guy. He knows he's about to die, and he has to make peace with it. He does a little prayer, and he prepares himself, which I thought was...
That was well done.
On this viewing, I'm like, okay, well, this is interesting.
Yeah.
So then, Bruce sees everything, and he's holding onto the girl. He sees the two flying idiots breaking everything because, I mean, face it, Man of Steel, you got the two Kryptonians.
Yeah.
No regard for life.
Right, none. We know, yeah.
So here's where I contend another change to the movie. This movie could have started really small. Think like X-Men, okay? Well, not the first scene of X-Men. Think of the original X-Men when we end up in some like small town where we get introduced to Rogue. Okay, just think of it that way.
Yes.
So this movie starts off with Jack. He's getting up. He's having a regular day before work with his family. He's heading to the office. He's making plans with his kids and wife for after work. Then we just smash cut to Bruce driving into the insanity, calling Jack. And Jack is already telling people, get out! But calm and orderly. Get out. Save yourselves. He's terrified. He's trying to keep it together. And now we care about Jack. Okay? Because Jack is somebody. We didn't know him before. So Bruce calls. Go ahead.
It'd just be different. You wouldn't think a hero movie would start like that.
It starts small. Real small.
Yeah.
So Bruce calls up Jack, and he says to get people out of there. And Jack says, I'm on it. Because, Jack's not a moron. Because we root for smarter characters, honestly. So as he's getting rid of as many people from the floor, he sees his death is coming from outside. He sighs, he prays, he deals with his death, just like he does in the original cut. And then we can cut to outside where Bruce is seeing the whole thing fall apart, saving the girl, seeing the flying idiots, breaking everything. Because now you would care so much more. And that is the entirety of what I have to say about Batman v Superman up until minute 10, second 7.
Second 7.
What do you think?
Huh. Okay, I like it. The only thing I have is you need to... I like how they created, like we said, the hero shots with Batman as a human, as Bruce Wayne, to make you feel for his character and understand, where his anger comes from. But I also like the Jack angle, so I feel like if you could somehow meld those two and have similar shots of both going on real time, I think that would work better for the movie. And I think I'm not a huge fan of the flashback for the billionth time in Batman movies. I thought that the whole time, especially maybe, okay, the parents part, but the whole thing with him falling in the place with the bats, okay, we get it.
Okay, so I have an issue. I'm going to nitpick even further. There is a little bit more that I was annoyed by. The movie starts off with Ben Affleck narrating.
Voiceover, yeah.
Okay? So we get this voiceover thing. Now,
about a dream.
It turns out to be a dream, which is also another waste of time. So we got a dream, and we got a flashback in a dream and something else going on. But that presupposes you know what Ben Affleck's voice sounds like. You know that he's the Batman. You know what's going on. So if you know all of that, and that's the first audio we hear out of this, we don't need the scene at all because we know that this guy is playing Batman. It's not like this movie was subtly marketed.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Affleck is a brand new, you've never seen this guy before. It's like the second you see him and they go, he's the guy.
Yeah.
Maybe for mystery, you get behind his head for a lot of the shots and then eventually gets out of the car. It's like so superfluous that the first almost 5 minutes is useless.
Yeah.
Did you find anything good about those 10 minutes?
About the 10 minutes? I liked, there was some good camera shots. I'll give you that. When the guy is shooting Thomas and Martha, the following of the bullet casing down to the ground was a good shot. Some of the pearls going everywhere was a good shot from, just the way it worked out, even if it was all superfluous. I didn't like any of the bat shots in the cave and all that. I thought some of the aerial shots with him driving on the road were really cool.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, some of those were really good. And, the effects of the building falling down was cool. And then I liked him running through the smoke and all the kids running. I mean, it was a good feel for how crazy it all was at that moment. I mean, you see this line of kids walking by and, then, he's helping this guy whose legs are crushed. It's just, they did a good job. They did put you into the moment of, holy shit, things are going bad.
Speaking of the fellow who was crushed by a part of the building, this gentleman has the greatest vision on the planet. He is down on the ground, pinned under debris.
Yeah.
It's dust everywhere. He recognizes Bruce Wayne from the ground through the dust several feet away. Now, I have trouble identifying people in that situation. I don't know. Maybe it's me.
I'd probably be in shock because my legs are crushed.
But good old Wally.
Yep.
Wally.
No problem there.
I was really hoping at one point, is he Wally West? Maybe he's he's a metahuman? Because I don't know. Because how did you do this, Wally?
Yeah.
You got a whole other skill set.
Does anyone else know Bruce Wayne's completely jacked and lifting up, I-beams and things off people's legs by himself?
I mean, he probably has a men's fitness issue.
Probably one or two,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Found the gym.
I think that puts a bow on part one of...
Part one.
Guess this.
10 minutes.
13 parts to this series. Because that's how long it's going to take to get through this movie 10 minutes at a time. So, please consider hitting like and subscribe if you like that kind of thing. And if you hated this, and subscribe anyway.
Subscribe because you want to see how much you hate the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Just hate watch us forever.
Yes.
So we'll see everybody next time because this series has got a long way to go.
Just like that movie, it took forever.